Hi, welcome back to another video. And today I'll be talking about this new poll we got for the New York City Mayor Democratic primary race. Now, this is an A-plus pollster polling we got that this just released this morning. And that this is a poll that really gives us a clear picture. And I think that from the results of this poll, it helps both the top two candidates, both Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani. Now, the reason that is because that in this poll, it found that Andrew Cuomo had a 10-point lead. But also that Zohran Mamdani, as you can see from the article title, has closed the gap between Cuomo and Mamdani. So within this poll result, both candidates here can say that there are good things for them in this poll, right? Cuomo can point to that 10-point lead, which is definitely what his campaign wants to see, and Mamdani can point to how he is closing the gap and that he's still surging in the polling. Which is true, and I will be showing you guys some of those results later. But I am going to go through this poll here real quick. And so this article reads: Andrew Cuomo leads Zohran Mamdani by 10 points, 55% to 45%, in the final round of ranked choice voting, according to a new poll for the Marist Institute for Public Opinion. While Cuomo continues to maintain his lead, the poll shows it is stagnant and the race is tightening. But the poll also shows a race not as tight as Mamdani has been saying. Cuomo is the first choice candidate of 38% of likely Democratic primary voters. Mamdani comes in second with 27%, up from 18% last month. So you are once again really seeing Mamdani continuing to surge in these polling. But the real question is, obviously time is not on Zohran's side here, where, we have about over a week left of this campaign here. And I'm not sure if that'll be enough for Zohran really to, have this momentum, keep him going, and for him able to, defeat Andrew Cuomo here. We also have Brad Lander and Adams follow. Each receive 7% of the vote. Obviously, they have no chance of winning. When the city's ranked choice voting system is simulated, Cuomo ultimately defeats Mamdani by 10 percentage points in the 7th round. Brad Lander was eliminated on one round earlier at 13%, and every other candidate was stuck in single digits. So yeah, you really do have what many pollsters have been saying, that both Cuomo and Mamdani do very well in a lot of, these rounds with the ranked choice voting, where they both survive a lot of these other candidates that have no chance of winning here. But in the end, in the final round, Cuomo will defeat Zohran Mamdani, is what most of these pollsters have been showing us here. And the A-plus pollster here, this Marist pollster, is saying that exact thing, and that's what we're seeing in these polling results. However, Mamdani has made up a lot of ground. I've talked about in previous videos. The horrible polling Mamdani was just seeing a couple months ago, now, compared to now, where he has gained huge momentum. Huge momentum. Now, there's a lot of these other candidates in here that really haven't made as much ground as Mamdani, and I think a huge part of Mamdani's polling surge is definitely his powerful messaging. His advertisements, the way he goes after Cuomo, just stuff he does, especially the advertisements. I've seen a couple, and I genuinely think they've been helping him. Now, Cuomo is a little inexperienced with that, but Cuomo has been able to lead this pack for months now, because he's the former governor. He has name recognition. His father was governor. So Cuomo is very well known within the Democratic Party, both, very favorable and very unfavorable. But yeah, both Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani have very good chances at winning the primary. However, still at this point, I do believe that Cuomo probably will still win here, but it's still going to be very close. We've seen Zohran Mamdani have this huge surge in the polling, which I actually will show you now, because on the Wikipedia page, I've been constantly showing you guys the Wikipedia polling that they do for the Democratic primary. I've been showing you multiple videos, which I will show you again, because we have updates we have these updates within the polling. As you can see, for this monthly update within the polling, there is a huge shift for Zohran Mamdani. There's been a huge shift. Now these are first round results. These are, how would each candidate do? Now, months ago, we had, none of these candidates even coming close, including Zohran Mamdani and all the other ones here, where Cuomo being, in the early 30s, Zohran being under 10%, almost all these other candidates being below 10% here. and nowhere coming close. Obviously, this green line here that just vanishes after Cuomo or Zoran takes over here probably was most probably was Eric Adams here. Actually, definitely was Eric Adams. Oh, yeah, Eric Adams. There you go. So, yeah, that was Eric Adams. He dropped out of the race, not recently, but, I even made a video on that. But as you can see here, as the months gone by, especially after Eric Adams dropped out of the race, Zoran Mamdani started to surge monthly. Before Eric Adams dropped out of the race, Zoran Mamdani was fifth here. He was barely fifth. And then the month after, or the month actually, that Eric Adams drops out of the race, right? Zoran Mamdani surges above everyone. Then the month after that, Zoran Mamdani is almost at 20%. Month after that, Zoran Mamdani is barely 20%. There, and you're starting to see Andrew Cuomo's line start to decline here. And now, within June of 2025, for the first round results, Zoran Mamdani is almost touching 30%. Andrew Cuomo has declined a little bit, but not as much, that would be really concerning for him in his campaign. But still, you really, really see the surge here for Zoran Mamdani, which is huge. Now, I don't believe either candidate will be winning on the first round. I do believe there's going to be a lot of these candidates here that are going to be sucking up a lot of the vote for Cuomo and Mamdani, which will make both of them unsuccessful in winning the first round and the second and the third and so on. I think that obviously we're going to have to get to a point where all other candidates other than Cuomo and Mamdani are eliminated, and we're going to see who comes out in the final round. And as of right now, I still think it's going to be Cuomo. I think Cuomo's probably going to pull it off at the final round here. Despite Mamdani's polling surge, I still think Cuomo's the favorite. That's what the polls so far are saying. Especially this Marist A+ pollster is saying. They're saying that Cuomo is going to, win that round by 10 points. Even though Mamdani has made huge ground in recent weeks, in recent months, actually. But yeah, you really see that Mamdani surge polling that I and others have been talking about. And a lot of these other candidates here aren't going to make it. Now, we've seen the debates and, we've seen the videos, and Zoran Mamdani definitely benefited out of those debates, where he was able to have, nice little clips that he'd be able to run with advertisements and all this other stuff where it would harm Cuomo. And I think that's where Cuomo's frustration comes in with all, the advertisements that Zoran Mamdani runs, because he clearly has a team behind him that knows how to edit, that knows how to work that type of stuff. And Cuomo doesn't get it. He's part of the old generation that doesn't get it. And that's why Cuomo is so fiery within the debate when it comes down to that topic. So, within this polling, I'd say, obviously this is the first round results. So, this isn't really like a, oh my goodness, Andrew Cuomo is going to lose here. Obviously, I still think Cuomo is going to win, just not by a huge amount that he once was going to win by. And it is totally possible for Cuomo to lose this. This is a race that Cuomo could possibly lose. Zoran Mamdani went from below 10% to whatever this was, and now he's almost at 30. That is almost a 20-point shift in Mamdani's, favor, and Zoran Mamdani's favor here. Now, obviously, at that time, we saw Andrew Cuomo here just above 30%, almost exactly where, Zoran is by now. And he almost reached up to 40% here. However, he has declined. So probably won't be reaching 40% within this polling now, especially with Zoran really catching up here. And it will be very exciting within this last week here or so to see how far Zoran is able to get within Cuomo for this polling. We already saw AOC endorse Zoran. We already saw Bernie Sanders endorse Zoran. We see a lot of progressives coming out. There, a lot of progressive liberals coming out endorsing Mamdani, and we're also seeing a lot of newspapers, a lot of big newspapers coming out and endorsing Andrew Cuomo, and a lot of people endorsing Andrew Cuomo who, at a time before, 4 years ago, called on him to resign as governor, and they are now endorsing him for mayor of New York City. So it will be very interesting to see if we get any new or more endorsements. Bernie Sanders was, I believe, yesterday. There's been a couple of endorsements that's gone by for Cuomo like Bloomberg and the New York Times and, you know, others. So we'll see if we get any more endorsements for Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani. I don't think there's going to be any big endorsements for any of the other candidates who don't really poll that well. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.